Hello all, this is Zimnala coming at you with another round of Conquest Dark. And we're gonna pick up where we left off. We had just won one battle and lost one battle, so I guess that's pretty fair. The first one we had trouble with the boss. We made it all the way to the boss of the final boss of it, and he was just a hard counter to a melee specialized character, so yeah. So we have actually another thing we could put in an obelisk to increase our stuff. Huh. So shattered one. So we actually haven't done a shattered one yet. Because that would be these boss rushes. So probably the obelisk we should use would be this one right here, which would increase our pickups. It's like the increased faction gain is something, and maybe 1 point in it is good, but maybe I want to not do more than that, because like the faction stuff is going to level up anyway, I feel. But yeah, we'll pump that in there. So that is slightly raising up the danger of some of these levels. Because like technically this one's harder than this one, so maybe this is the one we're going to do next. This one has more unlocks for us anyway, so we're going to try this one. So we don't know anything about this one. So this can give us a new sword. This one could give us another set of armor. This has a lot of solar stuff on it, huh? This gives us another spell for our spellcaster acolyte. This gives a passive ability. Gives another artifact. Another artifact selection. Another obelisk. Obelisk would be good, but we have to win in order for that to matter. So yeah, we're gonna give it a try. We're gonna be doing the acolyte. We decided that, and we haven't found either of these to unlock. So they're probably inside of those arenas, if I'm going to guess, because I didn't see them in the lineups for these other ones. So while attack speed might be good, I'm thinking it might be better for our survivability if we actually increase the amount of our barrier. I think that might be a good choice. So what we're looking for is something like attack speed. And maybe like movement speed? Or damage to elites or something. Well, lunar damage is good. I think most of our spells are going to be lunar. This might be fine. Okay, we're going to start this up. We're going to see how this goes. Let's find... Oh, this is a interesting looking arena. So let's get our stuff. We are going to pick... I think it was the Cosmic Ray we were going to try. So as you can see, this is interesting. It has a chain effect to it. So we were gonna try the collapsing star. So this should have like a gravity effect to it that pulls enemies into it. So it could be like something that knocks enemies away from us if it travels through them. Like that might pull them away from us, which might be good. So yeah, we're gonna increase our number of projectiles amount, and I hope target amount is something different than I think it is, but I'm not entirely sure how target amount works. Oh, look at that. It does pull them. It's actually pretty interesting. So basically the shirts and pants, we're gonna try to re-roll for like the special sets that they were. We're gonna try the arcane orbs which spin around us and do damage. They're not very big. I was hoping they'd be a little larger. So I'm feeling a little less good about them now, but we're gonna still give them a shot. We're gonna see how they go. It does say it causes explosions. So what I say is that this collapsing star does pierce all enemies, so at least it does damage that way. So this is armlets. I don't have to worry about it being part of that other set. So looking at what we have. Decide which thing is more important to us. I think we're gonna take the middle one. I think that's a good bet. I'm not gonna use my re-rolls to get a different thing because I wanna try to get harder to get the other set going. So from this. Oh, so that's a good one. The greater soul frag. Oh, submit. This is what we upgraded. We got a chance to get a better type of soul fragment. That's really cool. Yeah, this is looking spicy. So we're gonna take the first one because this looks like this is actually a good one just in general. Although the middle one will also be useful for us because we're doing freezing damage. We don't have any like freezing stacked up on our skills yet. So for collapsing star, what do we want to give that? I'm just looking at what they were. So yeah, I'm gonna give it 2 rune slots. So we can give this to one thing and give it a bunch of rune slots. So this one does piercing damage. This might be the best one. The first thing I'm gonna do is give it 2 additional rune slots. So that actually is a big damage increase finding that other rune. I think that's gonna majorly improve our game. Just by the ability to make a skill much stronger than before. And pick which skill that is. Oh, look at this. Gave us this as an option. I don't really want it. It does raise your health an awful lot. Well, this is damage and barrier amount. This might be good for just defense. I might take that. That's a doubling of our defense potentially, I think. So let's stack this up. What else can we give ourselves? So 50% is not enough to be worth taking a whole rune slot, okay? That either needs to be massively upgraded or something to be useful. What we can do is we can... trying to decide. So first of all, I'm going to give it more critical hit chance. I gotta watch out for these. They kind of blend in with the floor a little bit. We were gonna try the Falling Comet. This has a slower recharge as well. Interesting, interesting. We can get more critical hit chance. That's fine. So the next thing I can do is just give this, I can give this the critical hit damage as well. Those will stack up well together. I think that's just a winning combination for that skill. I thought about attack reach, but honestly it's not worth sacrificing the damage on it in my opinion. Because like if it's down to one target that needs it, it's not going to need the reach. It's going to be the only main target being hit. So let's stack this up just because like everything's going to be doing lunar damage. So I think stacking this is just a good way to increase damage and some other stuff. What I am a little bit concerned at is that I don't think it's going to affect bosses very much. I mean, we're still on tier 1, but we are doing pretty well. So 8 minutes mark left is the first boss coming out. Maybe. Gigantos. Okay. We are winning. It's not going terrible. Yeah, which one do we want to get? So we can increase barrier amount, so that's not so bad, but we don't need that at the moment. Critical hit damage, I guess. So what I will say is that our movement ability does a lot of damage, so much more than I would have expected, so maybe that's the one I should have stacked out. We got him. So of these, probably a split chance, I guess. I mean, I don't really care for any of them that much. Our next option is, well, Fallen Comet. What are the options? So I wonder if one of them takes 50% chance for moon runes if it affects all the other ones with moon runes. But I mean, there's no way to know that. So the thing you're going to get is actually attack reach. You're going to get the attack reach. Because like that is an area of effect damage. So that, look at that. Like that just knocks everything the heck away. Nice. I'm assuming that the ones that didn't move were all stunned, so. Look at how freaking tanky these things are. Trying to decide which of these is better for us, because like healthy only hits them once. I don't care for that very much. I don't want to use my rerolls here, so we could get a reroll, but I don't want one. I'm gonna go for reduced bleed rate in case it starts going bad. So we're gonna reroll and hope for one of the better things. Oh, these are boots. Never mind, that was probably a mistake then. Let's go for the middle one, critical hit chance. We're gonna take the chance for critical hits because that'll stack with our other options. So what I noticed is that our barrier is starting to be a bit of a problem, but I mean, we're gonna keep carrying through. Probably come to regret that, but we gotta keep safe for a while, then we'll be fine. Like, they did not survive that adventure very well. this. Which one do we want for this? We can do target amount. I guess that affects this because it does do... Does that mean it gets 2 runes? We're gonna choose this. I think that'll affect it. So that's interesting, but not what we're gonna take. We're going to try for the other set. It's not seeming amazingly likely. Yeah, our rerolls are becoming spicy, so I'm gonna actually take this critical hit. Like, I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna see if we can't get the other set then, because like at least that part showed up, you know? It didn't seem like a bad set. It just wasn't what I wanted to try at the time, but I mean, it is what it is. Which thing do we want to try? Would that work with projectile amounts? Maybe projectile amount would increase the number of things orbiting us. I'm gonna try it. Yep, it sure did. And do this one. So we're getting this. We're gonna reroll and hope for something better. So yeah, this is what we wanted to get that critical hit damage. So this should stack with this arcane thing. So while we didn't get the one I was gonna try for, which was that silver set, this right here is another set we could get. Critical hit chance. I guess I'm gonna take the primary attack ability. Let's increase the ability damage. That should affect everything. What I will say is I don't love how difficult it is to see what's going on, but at least we're not taking inordinate amounts of damage from this. Oh, next boss. Don't love what that looks like for us. What is going on? Why are we taking so much damage? Oh, is being outside of that what's killing us? That was not clear what was going on. I'm gonna be honest. So we got a new rune. So I guess we have to be in that range to not take damage. Well, good to know now. Let's reduce our bleed rate. Well, not especially happy that that wasn't obvious, because we have a pretty decent setup otherwise. So let's do this one. Well, for tier 3, this is not going too badly, but like we are taking a decent amount of damage. So if I get the barrier things, it would be a good choice potentially. But we can increase our movement speed. I think that's the better of those sets. You're definitely taking damage. That is for sure. We're gonna start losing more lives. There's not too much I could do about it other than to raise our barrier mastery and hope for the best. And I guess reducing the amount of ranged enemies is going to help a little bit with that. But I think part of it is our bleed damage. We are taking a decent amount of that. So if I was to guess, it's actually bleed damage again, I guess. Well, we're at the next boss. So I'm going to keep raising our barrier up and hoping that that helps. We got them down one set. One life. Gets the bleed damage ready to get this game. Yep. So in a battle of attrition, we're probably not winning this. We're trying. think that maybe if we take in like something with regen, or maybe we take in more barrier stuff early on and hadn't lost that. I think it's the bleed damage that's been getting us this whole time. It's like we got it halfway down. Yeah, we're on our last life. There was like no chance of that actually. So yeah, we don't have a chance of changing this. Don't know what our purple bar is. Technically, we're still alive, I guess. Well, I mean, as long as we're not dead, I'll keep fighting. Although I'm not entirely sure what's going on. Maybe you can't lose your last life to bleeding. Maybe you have to actually get physically hurt. If so, our barrier is actually pretty strong. If they can't land a decisive blow, maybe we are just gonna win, but I mean, I'm not gonna get too ahead of myself. Well, technically we won that battle, but I mean, I'm still not entirely sure what happened there. Yep, I'll raise this up. Let's hope for not too many ranged enemies, because that was what got us last time. Raise our critical hit damage. mean, I assume we're just surviving off guts. I actually thought that we were super dead. And I was not super happy about it, but I understood. But I don't fully understand exactly what this is. But I do think that maybe you can't die from bleed damage. So now we know barrier is super important for insane anti-bleed tactics, maybe. Sure. Not that it's going to matter too much. Yeah, the first ghost got us. But dang, we did actually technically win, and technically is all that matters, I suppose. That was pretty wild. So what does this obelisk do? 7%, so this increases the chance of events. Okay. Interesting, interesting. Did we unlock another altar? I'm just seeing if I see any new locations. So we beat this one. We didn't unlock a new altar. So what else did it unlock? A set? A bunch of abilities. Okay. Another artifact selection. Okay. Interesting. So it looks like what we have to do is maybe... Well, we do have to beat this. That'll unlock a new location. I think we also have to beat the, these to unlock some stuff, too. Okay, so which class do we want to use next time? We could use Thief. Thief isn't bad, but I don't know for sure which skills I'd use, so I'm gonna look at it. So these look like the only two primary weapons for Thief, although you can add more by choosing other skills, so that's an option to keep in mind. I think I liked the throwing knives, though. I think those were pretty decent. Man, the barbarian just has half the weapons, doesn't he, huh? It's crazy. So we're gonna try the Shadow Strikes. I want to see what this looks like. I think the Fan and Abs was pretty good, but it wasn't anything astounding, but it was pretty good. I want to see what the Shadow Strikes does. So I think this is probably better for like crowd control, so I do theorize it's a lot better, but I want to see this one time. I don't anticipate we're going to win this one. I don't think the Thief is actually strong enough to win. Let me get that clear. I don't think that that's going to happen. Interesting. So that's a new one we got called Exploit Weakness. So we got to make sure our power ability that we're using has... So we need something that gives conditions. So we're going to need... Gonna need to find the stuff that actually stacks conditions if we want to rely on that. So in that case, that would be what are the class masteries for that? I'm gonna take a look. So by default, they can get Thief. They can get this one. Thief gets the chance to freeze. So as long as they're doing lunar damage, it's gonna be good. Which it is gonna be doing lunar damage. So which weapon were we gonna use? Neither of these does lunar. So maybe instead of this, I need to find one that does do what I want it to. So can I get that with a class with this? Don't mind me, I'm just looking up what things actually let me get stuff. So if I put this on to get lunar spells, which ones would that give me? Would that give me access to the other weapons that I want to? So that would let me get this passive ability. It would let me get these power abilities. I don't think it would let me use this weapon. It might let me use this if I can get cosmic studies. So what would that do? Yes, I could get that other weapon with cosmic studies. That would also give me a barrier, which is interesting. So maybe I could get that barrier with that and it'd be okay. So I could potentially get that movement ability too. So if I get that, I could get teleport. So what does that set that gives this require? I didn't think it actually required anything. I think it showed up anyway. Interesting. So yeah, you do have to like study this stuff to actually see what it does. Oh yeah, we were gonna actually level up something, weren't we? So we have enough to level up 2 of these up to level 5. So I'm gonna increase our movement speed because that is survivability. HP you'd think it would be, but I don't actually think so. Critical hit damage could be good. This isn't as important. Chance for rare items might just give us better equipment, which might be important. So what was interesting was that this collapsing star did really good damage for a while, but it kind of fell off towards the end. Like, it wasn't bad. It has unlimited piercing, which is good. This only hits one enemy, so while it looks like a lot of damage, it kind of isn't. Maybe this one is good because it says it explodes. I might try it with this. It might seem silly that I'm taking that with a thief. But I wanted to give it a try to see how going out of your class could go. Yeah, this one was okay, but I don't think you attacked in the air, and it didn't do quite enough damage for me to justify taking me out of the fight. Though I did like the knockback it had. That was actually pretty useful once I upgraded the reach of it. I did want to try this ability though, but we'll try that a different time. I want to see how this this frost idea works. Boop. Okay, so we're gonna take the shadow strikes. This is interesting, but I'm not gonna take it this time. I am going to try doing this with I can't take this because it requires magic weapons. These require natural casting, so I can't actually use these right here. Okay, so I can't use these weapons. Can I get longbows with the hunter one? Because my original goal was to try to get a weapon that had more lunar on it. No, I can't get longbows on a proficiency. Huh. You could get it if I got Aura's Chosen, though. I could take this, potentially, and get it. Maybe. So I could get solar damage, which is not something we get a bonus to from our skills, but would be something I could get. But it has a high chance to work anyway, so that would give a status ailment. This right here also has a chance of it, but I don't think I can use it because it has the same problem. So if I wanted to get another one, this is probably the only choice I had. Sure, I'll bite. I liked it. I'll level up one. Actually, you know what? I want to see what this 5 mark does. So this would add an additional rune slot. That's interesting. We do have a number of these. Sure, I'll bite. We'll give it a shot. So I guess we can still use exploit weakness because we wanted to, our goal was to level it up to that point. Give that a shot. We're gonna try this right here. And it generates energy for us so our other abilities will take effect. I will commit more points to these once I figure out which skills I actually want to use. But I have to try them to understand it. Sorry if this was a big build-up for this. We're gonna try this now. We got the plan. I think the projectile pierce is gonna help. A lot of our stuff is projectiles still. I think. Well, I'll try it. A decent amount of what we're doing is gonna be projectiles though. So, I don't think the projectiles go very far though, so we are going to choose reach. Reach and movement speed is fine, or give it a shot. Why are you over here? Oh, do we not start with a weapon? Oh, it's right here. That's weird. But yeah, we're gonna take our bow. We were gonna try this. We were going to do this one. So we're gonna focus a bit more on this incapacitate and get that buff up and see if we can't boost up that one that does extra damage. So we're gonna try to aim for that set we did last time. I think raising our critical hit chance will be really big. I don't know what the percentage rate is increased by, to be honest. Oh, are there chests out here? Huh, that's weird. Alright. I didn't realize that. I didn't realize this wasn't an arena. That's interesting. Movement ability damage is crazy on this though. We use blue. This might be good, but we don't need the attack reach. I probably won't take this. But this increased damage and movement ability damage could be big because our movement ability actually does do a decent amount of damage. Don't think I need any of these. I'll reroll once. Sure, we'll take this. We're likely to injure enemies a fair bit. Trying to decide. So this right here might be good to stack because it already gets an extra one. So I'm gonna stack this up. The first thing I'm gonna do is, while we will get another one, I'm not gonna take it first. First thing I'm gonna do is get critical hit chance. This didn't give me any of the ones I wanted. I wanted exploit weakness. So is this a case where you want to go out further and further and look for treasure chests? These explode? What do they do? Do they spawn a boss? They do spawn bosses. Interesting, interesting. So our goal is to go out there and kill these guys? Are these the bosses we need to kill? Let's increase our... Well, let's think about this, because we have a good chance to light enemies on fire. Let's increase our damage to burning enemies. So let's not piss off more enemies, bosses than we need to, so... I guess I'll piss this one off. So maybe we could take this one off before the other ones get close. So there is a range to this that stops being a thing. We're gonna raise our piercing strikes. That'll be big for us. So it kind of seems like the bosses spawn over time too. Because that counter is going up. So that is something to keep in mind. Let's increase our sure. Let's increase our movement ability damage for now. So this is a hat. Does this give us a passive ability? That's crazy. I didn't realize that ancient helmets would give you abilities. But we're gonna take this one. Because while I don't really need its ability as much as all that, we should still get it for like the other stuff it has. So we're gonna want to increase our movement speed. We're not moving that fast. So of this, we're gonna do the Dance of Daggers. Okay, so it's not like a jump, it's like a, you wiggle forward like this and do damage around you. Interesting, interesting. Trying not to miss anything as I go in a circle around this place. That didn't seem to give us an item, unfortunately. But we are continuing. Take this one. We're not really doing much primal damage, but I do think that one of our abilities does do it. I think it was the counter throw. It's like we didn't pick it, but it gave us it. Yeah, let's... What's our passive ability? Exploit weakness? It's okay. We're gonna take attack speed, though. Make sure we're not leaving those behind. So what I will say is we have a time limit, so I think that's our time limit to kill all the enemies. So I don't know how, like, I think we've used more than half, but we wasted a little bit at the beginning, unfortunately. But we are going to keep moving. Gonna waste less time now. So our next one on this is going to be the one that increases our number of rune slots. So we are going to increase our pierce. to make it more likely we are to kill the target we're aiming for. I'm just gonna keep moving along. We're gonna increase our solar damage. That's our primary weapon anyway. I think we might have made a full circle, so I'm not sure like if the other bosses just spawn over time or if I missed them if my circle was too big. If that makes sense. You're a chest. Oh, here's one. So I guess they just spawn over time. You have to find them. This is definitely a much more slow-paced thing than the normal arenas. Which I'm not sure how I feel about. This is definitely a case where maybe movement speed might be more important, just to get close to them. So yeah, we are going to level this up and add in critical damage. For this, we are going to grab more attack speed. So we are still missing some armor pieces, to be honest. I think we've got a boss incoming soon. Like a regular boss. Maybe? Like, I shouldn't assume that that's how it works, but I'm guessing. So we're gonna raise our movement speed. I was saying that. So we'll see what happens in a few minutes, unless it just raises the tier up and that's all that happens. Oh, so that is the end of it. Well, we did get to 25. So it is just that long. Okay. So you don't have to aim for having a set because like it doesn't last the same way. Unless I misunderstood how this worked. So let's see what it says. I got to level 5. So maybe I didn't understand how that worked. So I might try this again real quick. I think I have to return them to the middle. Okay, so I take them and bring them back to the middle. That's what I didn't do. I did get a little bit of stuff. So I'm just gonna do that again. I have the same setup in mind. Okay, so we are going to get Shadow Strike. So we're gonna get Pierce. We're gonna aim more for speed than anything else now, because this one seems to rely a lot on speed. So let's see what 3 gives us. So you need 5 for each one you give it. Okay, understood. So your goal is to get to 5 and then kill an enemy. So we will focus on our movement speed. Not movement speed, but it doesn't really matter. So he will chase after us. Seems like getting equipment is actually pretty difficult. We did also lose a life there, which is unfortunate. Let's summon this up. Let's kill our friend. That's how you get your equipment. Good to know. So let's level up and add this to have critical hit chance. That's us. Reroll for something more useful. Oh, you can reroll which thing you're trying to get. So we also raised the tier up by doing this, so that is part of what happened there. So that's part of why this has gotten more difficult, is we also made it a lot more challenging that way. So I don't think we're gonna make it another tier to do this, so let's just increase our critical damage and try to go back and fight that boss. So we also increased how much time we had too, I just noticed that. So we only have to, so we add 10 minutes each time we do it. That's interesting to know. This is meant to be more of a marathon than I tried to do. I thought we had much more of a time limit. We are getting hurt quite a lot. So you need 10 souls for the next one. So I got the barrier in case that gives us a chance to live after we run out, as long as we don't take damage. I don't know if that'll work, but I'm gonna try it. So I do understand this a lot better now, at least. I think we are in trouble though, because like we are bleeding quite heavily. So, yep, we want to interesting. projectile amount is an option. We are going to do projectile pierce as well. So this is an ancient set, so this should be much better as well. So we're gonna get this one. That's an ability we didn't already have. So we're gonna fight the next boss. I think this is going to end up getting us killed, by the way. Like, I think that was just bleed damage. I don't think he actually hit us. So we got 2 of them done at least. So we can get this. This will actually make us faster. So which of these do we want to put on it? I think attack reach might be the best one. We have an event. So we can increase projectile amount, probably. So we're now relying on our barrier for life. Our barrier doesn't have a lot of energy to it, but it has something. So what I can give this is I can give it a much bigger chance to freeze so that this will actually stack with the execute. I did notice that didn't give me 10 more minutes like the first time. did get a bunch of... We are getting some of our souls that we need. But I'm gonna guess we probably need 15. So, once we get 15, we can head back. Oh, they got us. Alright. So we did get more unlocks, I think. So yeah, we did increase the level up, so we're now up to level 8. So we were making our way through, and we are getting a bonus to how healthy we are. So doing this is increasing. Is that a boost to a particular thing? Boost to healthy. Does it just mean health? I think it means health rather than just healthy. That's a weird way to say that, though. So that might be a misspelling right here. So yeah, we probably want to keep at this till we get to the next tier with maybe a different one. So let's see. So 12 is not that high, so it's not as high as this one. Interesting, though. So we can see what the other one would option. Oh, okay, no, I get it. So damage to healthy is actually it's an attack bonus to healthy enemies. I understand now. Okay. So this would be the same thing, but damage to injured. So there's a skill that does that too. I get it. So we have to get pretty far to get to Moon Touch rituals on this one, and this one will get us to another origin and a ritual event. So we probably want to unlock this ritual event too. So there's some good stuff hiding behind this. I don't think more health is actually going to help us as much as some of these other ones though, but the cost is getting much higher for these, so maybe we should just reduce our bleed rate in general. That'll help. So what was it that unlocked these sun-touched ones? Oh, this is sun-touched. So this actually has something over it. And so are these. These got a sun-touched over them. Is that what that 50% bonus of this means? Because it says it's a 50% increased effect, so maybe that is what that sun-touched means. Cool. So then I guess what we actually want to do is unlock that other one just so that we can have more options later. But we are pretty close to unlocking these next steps. Just like we're building our way towards this. So this would be 15. New artifact in that. I'm seeing what the long-term results are, so more artifacts basically. And abilities mostly. So this would give us another ritual event, and this one would give us a new thing that can show up on of these to make them better for us. I understand. But yes, I'm gonna call this here. I know I did a lot of like thinking out loud and some other stuff, but yeah. I think that was necessary to really understand what's going on in this, because there's a lot of complex systems at play in this. Yeah, so I'm gonna figure out which one I want to do next. So we had a lot of fun with the Oathbound, so I might give them another shot. So I'm just gonna figure out what skills I'm gonna use next time and level those up real quick. So we used this mace. It did a good job. We had a good time with it. Bunch of damage to elites. This has a higher chance to burn with solar, and it's a projectile. So we probably throw it, is my guess. And this is an attack spell that cannot be blocked or dodged. It says that right on it. So I think we're gonna try the hammer. And we have enough that we could probably upgrade this to 5. We could probably do that with most of our weapons at least. But I'm not going to do it with every weapon. But this one looks interesting because it's a projectile, and I think ranged is just generally better for what we have going on. Although this spell could also be interesting. What's interesting is that this shield gives you dodge chances. So we enjoyed this spinning like hammer thing that we did, but we've got like 3 other choices, so let's see what we want to do. So this launches a shield. This throws a spear that pierces through enemy and explodes. And this launches 2 holy bolts that explode on impact. I think I'm gonna try the spear first. So we did this aura, and that was pretty nice. That did a decent amount of damage. This aura does damage to when our power attack. So this requires them being very close to you, and it does primal damage, which is interesting. I think this Sigil of Flames is probably better though, because it has a chance to do chaining damage. So we are going to get this. Let's see what that looks like. So we did the shield charge last time, which wasn't bad. The stun was nice. I want to try this Steeds. The Spectral Steeds. I want to see what this one looks like. But yes, I'm going to call it here, and next time we'll go with that plan. Thank you all. I'll catch you next time. Take care.